Okay, so I am recording this this session today, just because I know there was a few that did ask, and I think Danielle couldn't make it, so she did ask if we could also record it as well. So it will be recorded. It is saved to the cloud, so I will give you a link to it as well. So if you want to go over it, you can more than welcome to go over and watch the recording as well. So it is an open Zoom meeting. So what I do ask, if you can, turn your phone on silent as well. And also your mics while we're talking, if you can turn it off. If you've got a question and you want to come on, then yeah, undo your mic. But if you don't put your mic on while we're talking, sometimes there's a little bit of background noise, all right, and we can hear. So, but we will give you an opportunity to, go around and, participate as well during the meeting. Like I said, if you've got any questions, just put your hand up or, come on, because we'd love to hear from you. So I'd love to, this is the first time we get to see everybody face to face. So I'm really excited. So if you want to just introduce yourself, your name, where you're from, what you're up to at the moment, like how long you've been in business, or yeah, if you just started, just introduce yourself. So I'll start with you, Josh.
Yay, I'm first.
You're first.
Well, my name's Josh. I'm in Adelaide, so the northern suburbs of Adelaide, or northern side of Adelaide. I've pretty much on the precipice of getting started. So I'm just in the middle of, or finishing my website, paperwork sorted out. It's just a matter of now sourcing the clients and building it from here.
Excellent. So have you gone live on your website yet, or you're still?
Well, it's being migrated as we speak. So I'm guessing hopefully by Wednesday, it should be up and running.
Excellent. If you don't mind, I'll have a bit of a squeeze at it as well, and just see if I can give you some recommendation.
That'd be good.
All right. Well, welcome aboard, Joanne. Oh, you're on mute.
Unmute. I'm pressing the wrong button. I do apologise. Yes, hi. So I'm Jo. I'm from the Hunter Valley, Cessnock. So we are accredited. We've been running for 2 years now, and we're about to venture into out of so much community participation into supported independent living, and we offer a range of services. I guess I've spent the last couple of years really putting my efforts into getting the company up and running. Apologise, up and running. I'm actually doing this in my office, so I do apologise. It's a bit of a phones will go. I'll turn them off where I can. I've been putting all my time and effort into working in the business, and now the time has come to work on the business and understand what the business is all about. So we're going along great guns, and the time has come now for me to understand what you guys are going to teach me.
Okay. Well, yeah, definitely welcome. As you know, Mandy is a coach in NDIS, and she does have her own a few companies in the NDIS industry. So, always feel welcome to reach out to Mandy. My background, like I did mention, was purely in marketing. So I've got a strong background. I've been doing it for over 25 years. So if there's anything that you want to ask just about how to position yourself in branding, or what you should do next, how to get yourself out there, always reach out, because that's the idea. Like, we want you to get both, like, utilize this where you can, so you get best of both worlds. So please reach out whenever you need to. So Hill, I don't know if you're there.
Yes.
Yep.
Sorry.
Excellent.
I thought I came online earlier, but yeah, I'm here.
Excellent. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm based in Victoria, in the Geelong area, and I'm just starting off. Had a conversation with Amanda, spoken to you too. And looking forward to getting things up and running.
Excellent. Yes. So Hill, as I said before, just reach out if you need any help. Just with your marketing or positioning yourself, or just want some advice, please reach out. Okay. Okay. So I think it's just the three of us today. Kayan, Danielle are not on, so we'll just continue. So today is about mastering your time efficiently. effectively as well. So, and the reason why we went with this one first was that we found that we do tend to, especially being a startup, depending where you are, you know, whether from the beginning or if you've been in your business for 2 years, if you can get the fundamentals done right with your time management, it will help you to get into a really good habit and routine. Because what happens is later on when you get to a stage where, you know, you've got a big team or you decide to have multiple businesses as well, you need to make sure that your time management skills are correct and you're pretty organized. Because what happens is you can, you know, when you just go to work and you go, what the hell happened? I don't know where my day went, or I don't know what I did. And I wish I was taught systems earlier on the piece when I first started, because the first 2 years of my business, like I probably made a lot of money in my first 2 years, but because my time management skills and my systems and procedures weren't in place, you know, I kind of felt like I was sick virtually for 3 years, like, because I just run myself down to the ground, you know, where I got pneumonia 3 years in a row because I was working till midnight every night. I had no time management skill. So I chose for this one to go first. I thought it's a really important one. And you know, I'd love, especially for, you know, you guys that are starting off, that you get this down pat first. And for you, Joanne, you know, if you're, you know, if you're quite busy, if you can learn techniques, I'm not quite sure, you know, how organized you guys are, but I know I wasn't. So this is really important. Usually Mandy wanted to touch on this one, but so Mandy prepared the presentation on this one. So I'm presenting it. So yeah, sorry if I stuck up on a bit of the wording in that, but yeah, let's go. Okay, so a business owner and a guide to managing your time effectively. I'm just going to, everyone, can you see my display screen? Okay, excellent. I'm just going to minimize your faces and just move it over. It won't be long, sorry. Okay, so welcome to the workshop. Don't be a superhero, okay? So us business owners and entrepreneurs, we know what it means to build a business from the ground up, and it takes smart thinking and a ton of hard work to create a successful business. So if you could finally master your time, you could make more time for you and yourself and your family as well. You can actually achieve a lot more by, you know, having systems into place. You know, so some of you will say, what, like I said before, you know, what did I do all day? Where did my time go? I feel like I didn't get anything accomplished. I feel like I was busy all day, but I have nothing to show for it. And I feel like, especially with my days, it just gets so jammed packed that I've really got to be selective and just be conscious of my time. So if you have these feelings that you might be failing in some time wasting habits, these habits keep us really busy, but make us feel unproductive. So they eat up your time and keep us away from, you know, accomplishing our goals that we need to get done for the day. So if you think things like, you know, lately I've been feeling like time is, you know, disappearing and I'm not sure where it's going. I felt unproductive yet busy, like I'm constantly spinning in circles. Like sometimes I especially in the beginning, I really felt overwhelmed. So this is really important. We found there's several time wasters that are soaking up, you know, valuable time. We've gathered together some time wasters, how to overcome them. They may not apply to everyone, but I'm guessing you'll find at least one that, that you struggle with. Oops, sorry. Okay, optimizing productivity with time and space. Usually visualize your ideal workspace and consider ways to make it in reality. In order to make the most of your time, think about the most productive tasks, place. What about you? So just making sure that you visualize, you know how you'd like to have your day. Like I usually the night before try to think of, you know, what my day is going to be like for tomorrow, and how I want it to set out if it's not really set out for me on a calendar. But I definitely try to visualize and make sure that my workspace at work is quite tidy as well, because I'm the type of person that can get distracted or if something's just too messy, I just can't focus. So try to focus on the task management as well. I know there's surprising disadvantages in multitasking, content switching and task switching that you can actually get distracted by as well. They may even seem impressive to do tasks at once, but you can actually get more productive if you focus just doing one thing at a time. So just try to block your, your time in sections, like try not to get distracted with what's going around, and prioritize your daily tasks. How do you decide on the most popular tasks? Okay. Discover how to get most out of your time by focusing on the high priority tasks. So I will touch on, how to do that as well. Setting up your daily systems as well is really important. So I'll go through that, looking at a bigger picture, how to focus to your day-to-day, and setting a schedule and trying to stick to it as well, because I think that's really important that we, try to stick to a schedule. I know you can get distracted quite often, and interruptions do come in, but just try to, eliminate that as well. We use effective time management techniques. You'll spend less time worrying about, the future and more time focusing on the task at hand. So I'll show you a few things that we do. One of the most important thing is, the first thing to consider is mapping out your day if you can. What needs to be done, especially like the week in front of you as well. And work out your peak productivity time as well. Most of you will realize a pattern that you're more productive at certain times and days. And the next thing about where you're most productive, as you visualize your whole day, you're more about to focus on the small pieces. Like for me, productivity is really good for me early in the morning. So I'm not quite sure, and I know Mandy likes, doing things later on in the afternoon and sometimes in the nighttime. But for me, I like to wake up early. So I could be waking up at 4:30 in the morning. And then, I don't know about you, but I used to wake up at 4:30 in the morning and could never go back to bed. So I found out that, and Mandy's definitely not a morning person. So I realized that either 4:30 I get out of bed or 5 o'clock, and I start doing tasks at that time in the morning where I know I'm just not going to get productive. But the kind of tasks that I do at that time in the morning is a little bit different to the tasks that I do like during the day. Like I tend to try to do tasks at this time, like working on the business, not doing task related like work tasks, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to grow my business. You know how people will say, try to allocate maybe half a day per week just trying to work on your business, not working in it. So mine's always at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning for me. And I only do, a couple of hours in the morning. So I try to at least do 3 days a week where I'm up at that time. And for me also, it's definitely at home. Sorry, I'm really rusty on these slides. Okay, so in order to effectively manage your hour by hour and day by day routine, you must first ask yourself, what's the best time of the day that I'm most effective? So again, that's what I was asking. So just about you guys, just let me know, like, where do you think you guys are most productive in the during the day? If you can just pop yourself off. If you can pop yourself off, unmute yourself and just let me know, what do you think where you're most productive and why?
Probably the first half of the day, 9 to 12, and use the second half as my thinking or doing time to get things sort of done in the morning, get things set up, and then sort of go from there. Afternoon, by afternoon, I've had enough, and it's more of a less productive, more thinking.
Yeah.
I guess mine is really depends on how I slept that night. If I wake up and I'm tired, I'm better in the afternoon. But if I wake up, I'm better in the morning. There's no set time for me.
Yeah. And Sahil, what about yourself?
About myself, I think 8 to 11 in the morning. But sometimes I can, I sit up late too. But 8 to 11, I think.
So you're midday as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you find like with with yourself, like being more midday, is that because you go to bed later and then you find it that you wake up? Do you guys go to bed a little bit later in the evening?
Yeah, I call
Yeah.
I'm like that. I think my voice has come back.
Oh.
I've just had lots of tea, so I might be able to do some of these. I am not a morning person at all. I literally have to very slowly get out of my bed and do my day-to-day things, have breakfast, wake up slowly. And then by about 10 o'clock, I can start work. But I've had to learn that over a period of time, because prior to that, I used to try and force myself to start working at 8 o'clock, and my brain is just not switched on at all. Whereas if I wake up slowly and get myself ready for the day and then start at 10, I am so productive and so effective. My brain just switches on, and then I can go until quite late. As long as I have regular breaks, I can go till quite late in the evening. And I always have between 12:30 and 1:30 off completely, because I do my personal training at that time. So you need to establish your own routine according to what works for you, with regards to your brain and the way that your brain works, basically. Because you could be staring at a screen and procrastinating from 8 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock in the mid-morning, and you've done fuck all. Whereas if you actually stop doing that and look after yourself and your body, and then start working when you know your brain works and that you're quite comfortable getting into the task and doing it and getting it out of the way. I've just had to learn that, because by default, so 10 o'clock onwards, before 10 o'clock, don't call me.
Yeah. See, where I'm the opposite. Like I feel like with my sleep patterns, like I do try to go to bed around about 10:30 for myself. But I found myself always waking up around about the 4 o'clock, 4:30 mark, and and then I try to catch sleep and I just can't get back to sleep. Or if I did, it was time to wake up. And I remember somebody saying to me, well, if that's the time you get up, then use that time. So for me, that's what I did. I needed time to work on the business, especially when I got a couple of years into it, or after the first year, I really needed to allocate time. So I just wasn't constantly always working inside the business. I needed to grow it. So I just found that was the best time for me. And I found that, like, if I work till late at night, my spelling, because my brain is just, I don't know, like it's slow. I don't know what happens. So I tend to make more mistakes at nighttime. So that's why I find I'm more alert in the morning. So that's what works for me anyway. But
I find it's a seasonal thing too. I do wake early, but I can't get up in that cold weather. But when it's warm, I can. So it's a seasonal thing for me.
Yeah, I'm finding that actually, like for so many years I'd get up and I could, I even go for walks sometimes at 4:30 in the morning or 5 o'clock. And my husband goes, are you crazy? And I go, you know what, but that's just my pattern. But I'm finding it this winter, I don't know, I think I'm just out a little bit of routine. I'm not even going for walks and I'm not getting up. I'm probably getting up around about 6 o'clock, which is not good for me, because I just feel like I'm not being productive in my time. But yeah, everyone's different. So that's the idea, is just finding your time where you're really productive, but also making sure that you've got time where you're working in the business and time that you're working out of the business, because they're two different things. Okay.
Do you want me to take over for a bit, sweetheart, whilst my voice is back? Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take over for a bit so that because they're my slides, and poor Rita this morning I rang her and I'm like, I've got no voice, this isn't funny. I don't know why it's back, but we'll go with it for a little while.
Okay.
So basically 90-minute sessions. What we want you to do is walk through your typical layout of your day and work out which bits you need to change and put it into 90-minute increments. So 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or 90 minutes, but work in 90-minute segments. There are daily time management habits that you need to get rid of and stop doing multiple times during the day, where you find yourself in a productive state. And when you're in that productive state, that's when you need to do your 90-minute increments. It might be easier to place those throughout the day or all in one block, depending on what's best for you. So another question a lot of people ask is, what if I've only got a limited amount of time? And as business owners, we very often only have a very limited amount of time. So you need to get rid of the distractions when you've got that time to be working on your business. So life is life. There's always distractions, things that come that are unplanned. And if you've planned to say work for 4 hours and you've only got an hour, it doesn't mean that the day or the time is completely lost. And that's unfortunately what a lot of people fall into, because my 4 hours is now 1 hour. I haven't got enough time. I'm not going to be able to do it. That's wrong. You can produce an awful lot of work as long as you focus literally on that job for that time, rather than what a lot of us do and multitask. Multitask is not a phenomenon that is actually real. People pretend you can multitask. You can't. You're just doing lots of different tasks and none of them very good. If you concentrate on just one thing for that 60 minutes, you'll find that you achieve an awful lot. Turn off your phone, turn off social media, etc.
Yeah.
If you can't do all of it, just at least do some of it. Once your schedule's thrown off, it can seem like the rest of your day is negatively affected, but that's your choice. If you choose to allow it to affect your day, then it's going to affect your day. So choose not to. Choose to change your mindset and say, it doesn't need to be the case. My day doesn't need to be ruined. So make the most of your time. Take the hour you have and do everything you can with it. And you don't need to rush at all. Choose your highest priority task first. Assign yourself an hour of working on what's actually going to move the needle the most, what's actually going to be the most productive thing to do within your business. Whatever's going to move you ahead furthest or the fastest. So think about your day to day. I bet you've already got a list. If you write down all of your tasks that you need to deal with today, so we'll do this now.
Yeah.
If you can write down all of your tasks that you need to deal with today, however many you think you've got to do, write all those down now. We'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. So write them all down, all the tasks that you need to deal with today.
Actually, I'll give them a planner. Mandy, did you put that link in that chat?
I'll find it for you. I'll send it
Okay,
now.
because I'm a like for me, I have a daily planner, and I did make up. I just used there's the background on me. Anyway, I'm going to pop in the daily planner in the chat, and I'll run you through how I do it, because I usually, and the really important thing is with tasks as well. Again, I'm not sure like what you guys are like, but I'll give you, like, for myself, I tend to think a lot before I go to bed about the next day. And I was told either, from coaches, that you either do it before you go to bed for the next day, start planning the task, or first thing when you wake up in the morning. So that's why mine's like just a piece of paper, and I've got a whole stack of them next to my bed. So I write down all the things I have to do, and then I don't have to worry about it while I'm sleeping during the night, because I've got a lot of monkey chit-chattering happening, because I'm always worrying about tomorrow, or I wake up in the middle of the night in a panic going, oh my God, I forgot. So that's why I write all my tasks. I like to do it the night before, but you might do it in the morning. So Mandy, actually, I might be able to bring it up.
It's in the chat box now.
In the chat bot. Okay, and I'm just going to share the screen so you can see it. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically what I want you to do is to write down the tasks that you have to do for today. Okay, so you write everything that you need to do, and right next to it you'll see a priority. So depending on how you want to do it, I do mine 1 to 5, or you can do 1 to 3 if you like. So write down the task first of what you need to get done for the day, right? And then the follow-ups down the bottom are the people that you got to call back. Okay. Now, some of you, like Joanne, you will have a team. So what I do, I give every task, I write the task down first, and I give it a priority. So It could be 1 being low priority and 5 being the highest. Anything that's a 5, or if you do it 1 to 3 system, depending on how you do it, that means it's important. You got to get it done quickly. Okay. Now, owner. Now, the problem is as well, if we try to do all the tasks by ourselves, then we're jammed, like trying to do all these tasks. If you got a, a team, I want you to think about the tasks that you don't need to do and delegate it. Okay. So put a name next to the owner. So for me, I will have like Riggs, I will have Jake, Daniel, I have Carla, I have Ryan. I can't say it, sorry. But I write names down who I'm going to give it to. Okay. And then I'll schedule it. So schedule, some of it might be, 1 o'clock, or I'll schedule it in the afternoon. So if you can just spend maybe just 2 minutes just thinking about all the tasks that you need to do. In the chat body is the link. Later on, I want you to use this every day if you can. So there's this one here, and there's also another planner as well that I'll share with you, but this is the one I particularly use. I did get it from Tony Robbins, and I just played it around a little bit to suit me. All right, and it works well for me. So I'll give you 2 minutes to go in there and have a go.
I've put the other one in there as well.
Oh, okay, excellent.
The second one is for if you work on your own. The first one's more for a team. The second one's more for working on your own, but they're both very good planners.
Yeah.
We should get some funky music in between
Yeah.
whilst you're doing these.
Yeah.
I think Josh is listening to funky music.
We're just
No,
in his
he's
ear.
not.
You just let me know when you're done. Just make sure everyone's got plenty of time. Just think about all the people that you need to call back as well, or schedule meetings for, or just tasks.
I keep looking at my phone. My son's little one's due any moment.
Oh.
Exciting. I'm going to get Spotify next time, so you've got some.
I do have Spotify, but I think last time it was cutting out.
Was it?
Yeah.
I need to do some funky music. Yeah, I found it, but I can't seem to. It's very strange. Oh, there we go. How are we all going? Enough time? Fantastic. Okay, so
Wait a minute, I'm just going to show you what I do with it now.
go.
Okay.
Oh,
It's all about time management, right? So once you fill out your sheet, right, then you get into your diary, to your, I don't know if you use Gmail or you're using Office 365, and then you see what happens now. So for me, I have, I'm going to just take off my background because I really want to choose a, no, this doesn't want to work. Yeah, damn it. Okay, so from my list, what I have, I've then gone into my diary, and I have, because I have a lot of meetings, so I start putting into my diary what needs to be done. So you can see I will have, you know, I already had a call with the client this morning from 8:30 to 9:30. Then I've got a meeting with my solicitor for terms and conditions on a business. I've got to do the wages. I've got staff meeting to discuss some advertising, a meeting with a CRM company, and then I've got other meetings during the day. So I can actually time slot what needs to be done. And then all the other tasks that has somebody else's name, then I go in and I use a another dashboard, what I have here. So this is what, when we start, oh, something's happened. And this is my communication board that I use for my team. And then I start delegating to my staff from these tasks here. Okay, so you might want to use Trello. You might want to use Asana, Monday, Basecamp. So we'll talk about these CRMs later in another one, but this is the idea, all from this piece of paper, how you program your days out. Okay. If you need to reach out, and if you want me to explain it to you again one-on-one, just to show you the steps again, I'm more than happy to help. But that's what I do with this. Yeah, Joanne.
Just a tip on how to go from old school hard copy diary to getting used to this sort of stuff.
One step at a time,
That's
basically.
why I still use this. Like for me, I'm still old school. Like I'm in my 40s. I'm in my mid 40s as well. So technology, I mean, I do prefer paper, but when you start running a team, you have to have a communication board. Okay, so otherwise what's going to happen is you're going to slow down your team because you haven't delegated, because you were busy that day and you forgot to put it in. All right, so this is why I'm saying, if you can start getting into a habit the night before or the first thing when you wake up, and at least spend, it only takes me 15 minutes to do this. Okay, so I do this the night before my task, and then in the morning, you know, overnight, I always think of something. So again, I add to it. But before I start my day, I start scheduling it into my calendar, and I start scheduling into my communication board with my staff.
Okay, we're all a little old school, so we're all using.
That's all right, but this is the idea, right? This is the idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Like in the next one, like the next intensive that we have, we'll do self-care, and the next one we'll work on to CRMs, because I really want you guys to get used to working this way, because what will happen is when you get these systems into place, like I found myself straight away increasing sales by 20% in the first month. All right. And I found that my team were working better and better without me as well. All right. Because if we have again a situation where we get COVID and we've all got to work from home, and if you've got teams and you're not set up properly, you're going to be set to fail. And that's what I don't want you. I want to make sure that you're set up, that you don't have to be around and your team knows how to work because you sign tasks to them. So I've signed a task and I can set a date and I can give it to whoever it needs to go to. Okay, so I will show you.
It's just a step-by-step process, Joanne. It's literally finding a system that suits you, to
Yeah.
begin with. So you can trial lots of different ones, find one that suits you and suits your team. But I will say the sooner you start this, the easier it is, because as you get bigger and bigger as a business and as a team, it's hell having to put all that data in. If you actually just start and just
Start with
step
this.
by step, set it as a goal, set
Yeah.
your steps underneath, and then just do it step by step by step. That's honestly the only way that you can do it. It's like breaking a habit. You can only break a habit by doing the new habit, little bit at a time. Yeah.
But just for the next 2 weeks, I don't want you to do anything else, but just use this planner. Okay.
Yeah. So
Just
you
get
start
used to it.
prioritizing.
Yeah. So just get used to that. And then we'll slowly move into how to get things up and going. But I just wanted to show you why I use this, what's the purpose, and then how I integrate it into my business, because my day is so hectic that if I don't do this, I'm lost. Seriously, I'm lost. So that's the idea of it.
The biggest thing we want you to take out of today is time management, schedule management, managing your time effectively. That's the biggest thing we want you to take out of today, because as business owners, you need to manage your time, but also show other people how important your time is. And not just so that you end up working ineffectively in your business, but working on it. And you can't do that unless you've got a really good schedule that schedules not just your time to work on your business, but also time for yourself and time when other people can actually get a hold of you. And that's where you put your boundaries in place. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so off we go. Next. So when you're considering the time of day that you're most productive, also have a look at where you are when you're most productive. Hi, Suhail, we can actually see you now. Nice to see you. Did you have a question?
I was on camera, but I thought I'd get off it. I just had a question. There was a mention of 90-minute slots.
Yes.
So you're saying work for 90 minutes, then take a break, is it?
Yes, basically. That's what I do. And depending on your day, you can put a 90-minute slot at any time in day that you're productive, because I'm productive at 2 or 3 times during the day. So I allocate 90-minute slots throughout my day, and I can allocate tasks based on 15 minutes or 30 minutes, depending on how long I think they're going to take, 60 minutes or a whole 90 minutes on one task, and then have a break, get up, go away from your desk, and then come back and do your next task. Even if you have to come back and complete the one that you've already started, but you need to look after yourself. You need to do it in chunks, and you need to have breaks. You can't just sit at your desk for 8 hours of a day, just working, because you're not as effective or as productive doing that. And you're more likely to procrastinate and try and multitask by doing that. If you literally set your tasks so that you're doing them in slotted time, allocated time, you're more likely to do those tasks because you've allocated time for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. And how long should the break be?
In the morning, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and then an afternoon break, half an hour. Depends on your day and how you work most productive and where you are and what you need for your own body and your own way of having a decompression. But get up, go away.
Yeah, sometimes like some tasks can be very tedious and boring. Like your attention span's only an hour, that's okay. But don't, like, if you're finding that, then maybe have another look at your task that something else needs doing, because sometimes, I even struggle sometimes. Like I get some really tedious tasks sometimes. So I just have to, maybe just spend a little bit of time on that task, but still got a chunk. I try to chunk things together as well. Okay. So I might put 3 or 4 tasks within that 90-minute time frame where I've got to get that done.
No, because what I find is also what happens is if it's something you're doing on the screen, looking at the screen for 90 minutes tends to sometimes get a little tiring. Yeah, so maybe, yeah, so. it's just-
Actually, you know what? That's a really good point, because I spend a lot of time on the computer. I could spend any sometimes days like 12 hours on the screen. So it's really important with your computers as well. And I've done it with my staff. Don't put your computer up against the wall. Okay. Always have your computer and your screens facing out to an open area. So all my desks at work, I'm doing this from home because it's just too noisy at my office. I have, like Mandy will see when she comes, like it's all straight in a straight line, and I've got front and back. So I don't have any corner desk. It's just straight desk. So you've got clear vision, because otherwise your eyes go funky on you. You'll get really sore eyes.
Sure, yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
To work out where you are when you're most productive. So an ideal setting, most productive workplace. Envision it in your mind. Where are you? Well, what are you doing when you're at your most productive? Are there others around you? Are there sounds around? Is it a casual setting, or is it a more formal setting? A lot of people go to maybe a favorite coffee shop where they like to work, because you're surrounded by people, but at the same time you're on your own, and you can work. You're more inspired. Coffee shops are great places. They're comfortable and productive, and you're not isolated. Or join a co-working space. Many cities have got co-working spaces, and it's got all the amenities of a typical workplace, and you can enjoy some motivation by surrounding yourself with others that are also as productive as you are. If you're already in an office setting, have a look around your office to see if you can work out where your favorite spot is, and set your desk up to reflect your work needs. So if you need minimal distractions, take everything that's distracting off your desk, things that you can fiddle with or procrastinate over.
Yeah.
Or even outside. I love to sit outside in the spring. I got a table in the shade, and I've got nature around me at the same time as I'm working. It depends. If you have got a workspace where you live, which I do, I've got a specific office, and I close the door. So I come into my office and I work. When I leave my office, I close the door. So there's a difference between when I'm working and when I'm at home. You can't mix the two, otherwise you get so overwhelmed, and you find yourself doing work when you're actually supposed to be doing downtime and home time and quality time with your family. So if you do have an office space at home, don't have it in your bedroom, for God's sake, because no offices should ever be where you're relaxing and sleeping. Set it up in a specific area of your house. If you can't have a specific room, have a specific area, and literally don't go to that area unless you're in office hours, unless you're in work mode. Yeah.
Yeah. And who's got an office? Who has their own office? Okay. Like what I find with myself as well, because in the beginning when I started my business, I was doing it from home. And like I said, I was doing like 12 hours a day. Now I just use my home office just for working on the business. I try not to take the work home. And then when I'm at work, it's purely just for work. So I've actually made my two different places different. So you might, like Mandy said, you might have a part of the house where you go, you know what, this is the place where I just work on the business, and my office is where I'm just doing work. Because otherwise you kind of get, I don't know if you ever feel it, but like for myself, when I was doing it for 2 years, I just didn't want to go in that room anymore. Like I'm done with it. So I had to change rooms. I had to change one of the kids' room and swap my office around, because I just couldn't stand that room anymore. So yeah, and I just needed a new scenery. So now
I know a lot of people who have two offices, so people that are working from home and are working in an office. Some people actually have it exactly the same. They have the same computer set up, the same desk, the same utensils, pens, books, everything exactly the same, so that they're in work mode, whether they're in their home office or in their office. I can't do that. I need to have variety, because if I go into an office space, I'm working on a completely different project to work that I'm doing at home, but that's because I've got multiple businesses. So just set it up that in a way that suits yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, who are you going to actually work with? We're actually social animals, would you believe, as humans, although sometimes I don't like very many humans, but we are quite social. Some are more social than others. I'm extremely sociable, but I do like to be an introvert. So I need to escape humans a lot of the time and be an introvert, especially when I'm concentrating on things. But work out whether other people give you energy or whether they drain your energy or whether they distract you. So choosing to where to work and who to work with is really important. Like me, I'm social, but I'm not productive when I'm being social. I'm more productive when I'm not surrounded by humans. Otherwise, I'm just chatterbox. I'm terrible. So be honest with yourself and make a decision based on how you use your time best. If you've got one person or a group of people that you work really well around and you bounce ideas off and you stimulate each other, fantastic. Get them over regularly and use that time to inspire yourself. But establish your best working time, and setting that will be propel you to be more effective with regards to your time management skills. Ask yourself the simple questions: when and where will I need to be in order to create the structure that's going to handle the rest of my day the best? And having that environment in place will anchor you to your schedule when, and they will, obstacles and distractions arise. So focused task management. So whilst working on 3 things at the same time might seem a really good idea, because you think you're getting a lot done. And sometimes a mindset happens whereby the more that I'm doing all at once, the more I'm getting done. That's not true. The opposite is true. If you focus on just one thing at a time, you're going to achieve higher quality results. So having one thing that you're working on is actually going to free up your time more. Moving from one thing to another or focusing on many things at once are really effective ways of managing your time. And you might find yourself beginning a really long to-do list and jumping from task to task to task to task to task. And at the end, you haven't actually done anything. You've attempted lots of different tasks and accomplished none of them because they're all unfinished. There are 3 obstacles that may come up during your day, and all of them can adversely affect time management in very different ways. And these obstacles are multitasking, task switching, and context switching. So I'm going to describe these for you, and you can hold your hand up high, because some of you are going to know that you're really guilty of trying to do this because you can't. So multitasking involves doing many tasks at once that are all related to the same end result. A lot of people attempt multitasking in an effort to be efficient, when in fact, and often it's very celebrated. Women are really good at multitasking. No, bullshit. They're really good at doing lots of things and not getting them all done. Yeah. It's not as effective as people believe. It's really not. Women can walk around the house and do lots of different things, and it's not all completed, but they're looking really busy. You're just busy being busy. Same with some men. I'm being very sexist, so I apologize. If you think that you're an expert multitasker, you're fooling yourself.
So does that mean that men can do one thing really well, does it?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Maybe not.
Women can. Humans can do one thing really well. They can't do lots of things really well at the same time. For example, with multitasking, you might have tried to walk whilst you're typing on your phone or emailing on your phone. Whilst both of these tasks you know how to do really, really well, they're so much more difficult when they're both done at the same time, because your attention is split between the two, and you actually have to stop walking, complete what you're doing, and then start walking again. I mean, how many of us do that nowadays? An awful lot. My husband's always saying, will you please watch where you're going, man? You're going to fall over. You can't multitask.
Yeah.
Task switching. Now, task switching is very similar to multitasking. So it involves doing many things at once, although it's actually less productive than multitasking, because it occurs whilst focusing on lots of different things at once that are not related to the one specific goal. Yeah. So you're switching between lots of different tasks that have got no relation to each other. For example, you having a chat on the phone or a conversation on the phone about an upcoming event, whilst you're writing an outline for a project or a webinar that you're doing, and they've got nothing to do with each other. So you're more likely to miss details when you're giving your attention to two different things at once. So you might miss something that the person is saying on the telephone and might give you a date, and then you get to the end of the conversation and you're like, I didn't actually register what that date was. You're switching from task to task simultaneously means that none of the work produced is as high in quality as the work that's done whilst you're only focusing on the one thing. So that's task switching. There are two types of task switching: interrupted task switching and rapid task switching. So, for example, interrupted task switching occurs most of the time when you've got an email, social media, or text message notifications, that bloody bing or that little red circle that comes up on your emails or your socials or your SMS. You've got noise alerts, pop-ups on your computer. You're so likely to be easily distracted and pulled out of the moment where you're in a flow state, focusing and even enjoying yourself on your work, and that's gone with a simple notification. For example, once you notice a new social media notification, the moment you click on it, you've task switched.
Yeah.
You may be working on the project in one window whilst checking your social media on the next window, but these interruptions are major obstacles in time management. They stop you from entering that flow state, and that flow state is what you need to be in order to get the tasks done. So you need to switch the bloody things off.
Even the breaking news things that come on your email.
Oh.
I'm a sucker for that one. On
Yeah.
my screen, that sometimes a little news feed will come in and I'm like, I'm talking and then I'm distracted. So I've got to turn those things off because
Turn them off. Turn them off. So rapid task switching involves switching from task to task in rapid succession. So you're taking notes on your notebook with your computer open to another task. So notes on your notebook and your computer's open, you're doing something else. You're going to fall into rapid task switching. You're going to move from typing an email to writing an outline for a project you're working on in the same second. Going from task to task in quick succession diminishes your awareness, not just of your work, but on the rest of the world around you as well, because it limits your ability to think clearly and with care. Your brain becomes foggy and full of too much mess rather than focused directly on the task ahead of you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Context switching. So context switching occurs when it's basically moving from one project to another without actually completing either. So you've got 8 hours in your work day. Choose your most important project and work on that. In order to use your time most effectively, complete the first project before you move on to anything else. If you move from project A before it's done, you'll likely end up with 2 unfinished projects by the end of the day instead of a whole task completed. And a huge disadvantage to context switching is that it wastes work time. Once you come out of focus, it actually takes about 25 minutes to get into another state of focus. So if you switch context 3 times during your day, you've lost over an hour of your time because you're then having to take 25 minutes to get back into focus. A waste of time. So strategies. What strategies do we have in order for you to overcome these? Though there are many things that come up and there's so much to get done with so little time, it is possible to prevent these distracting habits by forming new ones. So we're going to give you some of these strategies that will help you focus on just one thing at a time. To start off with, implement when and where you're going to work. When you're in your ideal work setting, you're more likely to become engulfed in your work. Secondly, make it a rule to complete a task before you begin the next one. Even if it's a boring one, finish it before you begin the next one and make that a habit. It'll increase your work endurance and it'll help you get more done and you're not going to be wasting precious time. Turn off your social media and email notifications and your SMSs and even your phone, because taking a phone call, allocate time and turn everything else off. You can always go back to it. Nobody's going to, unless death or dying or some disaster, then they can get through to you. The rest of the time, leave it off. You can even have an auto message that let people know when you're going to be back online.
I've seen that, Mandy. I see emails, responders saying I only answer emails between 10 and 11 and 2 to 3.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've actually seen, I've seen that a few times happen.
And that teaches people how to respect you. It puts your boundaries in place and teaches people how precious time is, and that you cannot be there at the drop of a hat for them.
Yeah.
Stay away from websites, distracting websites. I know I used to have a habit of typing in my favorite website when I really meant to check my email. You can avoid this by using applications, if you like, and reminders that will protect you from distracting websites, or just only have them on a specific computer or on a specific phone, or turn them on when at the end of the day. It's your choice how you choose to be distracted throughout the day. It's your choice how you choose to procrastinate. It's your choice as to how effective you're going to be during your work day. It's a choice. And take advantage of sound. I love music. I love nice, relaxing music in the background. So put on your favorite background noise, or actually eliminate background noise altogether with those amazing noise cancelling headphones that you can put on and literally just be immersed into your work. They're fantastic. I use them all the time. In fact, these earpods do it. They're great. Prioritize your daily tasks. This isn't going to come easy to any of you. It's really not. Mastering time management it takes practice and consistency in order for it to become habitual. But you can make it habitual. The best way to ensure you get everything done on your list is prioritizing, like we've said to do first. So you put the most important tasks first and do those.
Highlight it, you have to, like all your 5s or 3s, however you do it, highlight it. Make sure you've done.
Prioritizing, again, if you keep doing that list every day, the skills come with practice. It's literally a practice thing. It's a habit thing. I think it takes 11 days to get a new habit. It's not always clear what can be most important. And though some projects have steps, others are more general and can be accomplished in a variety of ways. I'm going to go and get some water.
Okay, yep. And I'll take over from here. Okay, so let's have a discussion about how you prioritize your work. What do you guys do? Like, do you have a system that you do or anything? No? Josh, we'll go for you first.
I just sort of doing a list. It might not be necessarily prioritized, but it's things that I get done in a day. And okay, now I try and figure out which one do I need to do first, how much time is each one going to take, how much time do I have, and try and juggle it that way.
Yeah. Do you think that this daily planner will help you do it?
Oh, definitely will.
Yeah.
Spending time tonight planning out tomorrow's stuff is going to make it easy to figure out, okay, well, this is what I've got to do. Then you can reprioritize or move it as you know that it needs to be done before other stuff.
Yeah. Try to put a prioritize on there, like give it a number, and try to do, the hardest ones first as well, if you can. All right?
The hardest ones first.
Yeah, the harder ones first, because you know what happens? Because this, and I'm only saying it through experience, because what I was doing was leaving the harder ones to last and doing the easy ones first, and then somebody will walk into my office and I was like, oh my God, I was supposed to get that out this afternoon and I didn't, and I got distracted. So that's why it's so important to have the priority on it and do it straight away.
Bite the bullet, do the hard ones first.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
What about you, Joanne?
Yes, I'm just still using the hard copy diary, but I am that person that actually will start something and then I'll get a call and I'll go onto that, and I'll get an email and I'll go onto that, I'll get a text message and I'll go onto that. So I am that guilty of being that person that has those 10 things on the go and nothing gets finalised.
If you see my phone log, I can get 84 phone calls a day. Like sometimes I go, oh my gosh, my phone just doesn't stop. It's crazy. So that's why I'm just saying to you, everything I'm saying is just through experience. That's what works for me. It might be different for you guys. And Sahil, what about yourself?
Well, I prioritize, I just make a list. I used to use online notes like, Google Keep. Yeah, or but I found that I may prefer doing it on pen and paper.
Yeah.
So I do that, and I prioritize it by time. Which needs to be done earlier. Not that it's kind of unconsciously. So it's a bill that has got to be paid by today. So then I prioritize that. But also by another factor would be, I think your earlier slide you showed by what is important also. You've got to do get some work done related to work. Then that becomes important. And then also other things like planning activities.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Making sure like when we are planning out that we've got time for working on the business and in it. So make sure that you keep them separate. Right? Don't mix them up. Don't try to put you working on your business like in between everything, because it's not going to work. I'm telling you, it won't work.
I am lucky now. I do have an operations manager. I do have accounts. I do have rosters. So we are at that point where I can delegate. We've just been lucky enough to put a junior on. So I do delegate where possible. But I have to learn, because it has been my baby, to step away from things and allow people to do them for me. And that's what I find difficult.
That's one of the hardest things that I found. I'm such a control freak when it comes to my baby. But I knew that if I didn't delegate and if I didn't step away from making sure everything was done, and if I didn't respect and trust my team, then I was never going to get to a point where I could work on my business. I was always going to be in it. And I did not want to be in it for the rest of my life at all. So I literally just stepped away and left my team to it. We communicate all the time. I've got Monday. If I want to see what's going on, I can see at a glance. But I literally stepped away, and my team have been amazing. They are not perfect. They are not going to be perfect. They are not me. Nobody works as hard as we do. They really don't. But they still work hard enough to grow and maintain the values, the standards. The business is growing and growing and growing without me in it. But it really does take us stepping out. We have to step out and let other people step into their greatness without us there.
I do feel very blessed. I do.
Yeah. And I think when you got the right people on as well, like I found with myself, because in the beginning, like I was a bit controlled, like I was worried because I'm, you're dealing with big accounts and you're letting someone, look after it all. But when you get the right people in place, and for me, like I always go now, you know what? It's so good to have someone smarter than me, and let them, they know more than me. Like I used to think I knew everything about, web development. I know nothing compared to what these boys do now. So I always go, you know what? They're the master at it now. So, but I'm comfortable to do that now.
Yeah.
If you're the smartest person in the room, then you need to change rooms and go to a room. A different room, because you're fooling yourself. You should never be the smartest person in the room, otherwise you're not growing.
I think too, it's because it's my name that's put to it. People, you built it on your name, and you're worried that if people don't make the right decisions or the decision you would make, that it's going to come back to you. But
no, there's always going to be things come up. There's always going to be people making mistakes. As long as they're learning through that, and you use that as a learning curve to ensure it doesn't happen again, and you improve your the way that you do things. That's the main thing. It really is, because yes, it's your reputation, but it's also the business. The business takes over from you. It's no longer going to be about you. It's going to be the business. It's going to be the business that's got the mission and the vision and the values. Yes, you put them there in the first place, but they will grow as a result of what you started. The embryo you started grows up to be a child and then an adult that can go off and look after itself without you intervening in any way, shape or form. It's like having children. If my children couldn't leave home and be completely independent of me, I've done a really shit job.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've done a really good job and they're completely independent. They leave home really early successfully, but part and parcel of mummy straight. I've given you a time management checklist. I've put it into the chat box. It's basically a checklist that you can work with and work through. What I would do is see how you can incorporate it into your days, just one thing at a time. Go through it and tick off something that you can work on, something that you know you're the worst at. I would do the thing that you're the worst at and change that first, because that's the one sticking point that most people don't like to work on. So it's in the chat. Have a look through it, use it, and choose one thing. If you come out of this intensive with just one thing at a time and
Yeah.
get that skill and then go on to the next one. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the time management checklist.
Okay. Let's move that. Yeah.
Time management basically is all about managing yourself. You can't manage time. We've all got the same amount of time during the day. There's only 24 hours, 60 minutes, etc., etc. That never changes. The only thing you can control is where and how you spend your time and the actions that you take in order to reduce or eliminate the time wasters that you've got in your life. So here are 10 timeless ways to take control of your schedule each day to make most of your time that you've got available. And I'm going to go through each one at a time. So these are going to give you strategies on how to manage your time effectively. They're not all going to suit you because everybody's different, but we'll give you something at the end which you'll be able to use to help you choose which one's going to be the best for you. Okay. So the first one is Pareto's principle, or Pareto's principle, however you pronounce it. I've got no idea. It's the 80-20 rule. A lot of you have probably heard of it already. 80% of your results come from 20% of your action. So it's a way to view your time usage and prioritize your chosen tasks against your most important goals. So work on your goals. Are you focusing in on the 20% of the activities that's going to produce 80% of the desired goal? And do that, work on that. So we can do this together. List some of the problems that you're facing at the moment. So for example, maybe you're not getting a service agreements written, or your staff contracts are not getting written in time. Once you've worked out some of the problems that you're facing, identify the root cause of each problem. It could be because you're spending too much time on social media or some other kind of distraction, SMSs, emails, telephone calls, procrastination. Each problem that you've got, assign a score to each problem. So the higher numbers, the more important the problem. And then group your problems together by cause. So group them together by all the problems that are caused by spending too much time on social media. What problems is that causing? And once you've done all that, add up the score of each group. And the group with the highest score is going to be the issue that you need to work on first. Okay, that's Pareto's analysis. And it's mainly most effective for people who are problem solvers or analytical thinkers. No good for me at all. I am not analytical. I'm a problem solver, but I'm not analytical. I hate spreadsheets or anything like that. But this is a really good way of working out which problem you need to work on first. It's going to create, if you work on it, it's going to create the best result. The next one is establishing prioritized goals. So without goals, you might find that you tend to chase after whatever seems the most urgent, or is the thing that's staring you in the face the most. It's tough, if you're like me, not to get distracted by shiny objects. To prevent this, you need to figure out what your true priority is and move towards them by setting yearly, monthly, weekly, or even daily goals in order to achieve that desired outcome. And then you rank them using a system of importance. So importance A is high importance, B, medium importance, C, low importance. And then how urgent is it? 1 is it's high, very urgent. 2, medium urgency. 3 is low urgency. And what you need to do is work on the most urgent and important goal. So task A1 first, high importance, high urgency, and then move down your list.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the more you take on other people's stuff, like if you don't say no, then you're never going to get through this list.
yeah.
Okay.
We're going to give you another goal setting thing. I'm just going to put it into the chat for you now. This is a goal setting task. I just need to find the, so I'll put it into there.
As well.
There we go. Thank you, Suhail. Yeah, it is. Okay, so I've given you the goal setting task. So this is something that we're going to work on briefly now. We'll give you 5 minutes. I've sent it through to you. You can print it off, or you can have a look at it on your screen. Use your notebook if you want to. You don't need to use the one that I've sent you straight away, but the one that I've sent you straight away is a really good tool to use. If you write goals down, they're more likely to be done, completed, rather than just walking around with them in your head. Goals that are in your head are usually just dreams, okay? So what I want you all to do is write a list between 5 and 10 goals that you'd like to accomplish in your current business within the next 12 months. So you've got 5 minutes, and then, go and write down 5 goals for me. Any questions before you do that? No, we're all happy. Fantastic. I might do this at the same time.
Yeah, I'm doing it as well.
So 5 to 10 goals that you'd like to accomplish in your business over the next 12 months. Big goals, don't make them little. Nice big goals. I'm going to put some music on whilst we play.
Okay.
Although Suhail doesn't like music.
What was that?
Do you want music in the background? Will it distract you? Or?
Fine. No, I'm fine with it. It doesn't bother me, but when I'm doing my own thing on my own workplace, then I just cut out it. But otherwise,
Yeah, I'm like that. I'm like that. Okay.
Turn it off.
All right, I'll just put a timer on.
My husband can never understand how I can work with noise.
Yeah, I end up singing to the songs when I get distracted.
So 5 to 10 goals, just off the top of your head. Don't think about it too much. You know your business, you know what you can do. Okay, so how are we getting on? It's not a test.
I'm done, but how are you guys going?
Fantastic. Okay, so the second half of this is the next page. Sorry about my cat. I want you to review your list. So have a look at your list, and I want you to select one goal.
Actually,
if you
can we all share one goal just now, maybe?
Yeah.
Let's just share
Yeah.
one goal each.
The one goal that you think that if you achieve it in the next 3 months is going to have a huge impact on your business. So what goal?
Go, Josh, or I'll go first.
Go, Josh.
They're probably linked, but I need to increase my social media presence, which in turn will hopefully start to gain clients.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Fantastic. Joanne?
To get our sales department set up and have that running where I can step back.
Fantastic. Love it. Brilliant goal. Sue Hale?
Yes, since I'm starting off, one of my major goals was getting 2 clients in the first month.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay. So on the next page, I want you to write that goal at the top. And then I want you to write an achievable date that you're going to achieve it by. Don't set yourself up to fail. It could be within the next month, 2 months, or even the 3 months, because this is a 90-day goal. Okay. So what kind of date do you think you're going to be able to achieve that by? And then underneath, I want you to brainstorm. I want you to brainstorm every single tiny step you need to take in order to achieve that goal. What would you have to do every day or every week, every month? What are you going to need to do in order to achieve that goal? And write the steps down underneath. You've got 5 minutes. You all right, Josh? You look as if you're taking an exam.
Well, life's a test.
It's amazing what you can actually pull out of your head that you need to work on in order to get these things accomplished. What I want you to do once you've done these steps is transfer them into your schedule. So you're going to transfer them into your 90-minute segments so that you can work on them with focus in order to achieve them. Some of them may take you 5 minutes, some of them may take you half an hour, some may take a whole day. of different days working on it in 90-minute segments. But you're going to transfer these steps into your schedule. The other thing that
you might want to reach out to me if you want social media, like with some social media planning. I'll give you a schedule. Something just
matrix.
So matrix, yeah. So that could be one of your steps.
Yeah.
For me, yeah.
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 Oh, yeah. Me and social media aren't best friends.
All right. You're going to either learn, delegate.
Yeah.
That's your choice.
Yeah, that's right. I think the learning, the old dog new tricks is probably applicable to me on some level. So yeah, I might get to the point where I gain an understanding of it, but the best use of my time would be to outsource on some level.
Yeah, like a VA.
Yeah.
Or even hire somebody.
Yeah.
Hire somebody to do it.
Yeah.
What I'm going to get you to do with your goals, I think I probably discussed it with all of you when we had our one-on-one session, is a whiteboard or a flip chart. Write these goals down and write the steps underneath and transfer them into your schedule. Because if you're not working on them, if you can't see them and you're not working on them, this is not going to happen. Goals do not happen unless you're working on the steps in order to achieve them. So transfer them onto your schedule and put them up so that you can see these goals and you can see the steps. And then next to the goal, an appropriate reward for you for achieving that goal. Yeah, because there's no point in achieving a goal without having a reward. Like I said before, the achievement of the goal is not the reward. Okay, so an appropriate, cost-appropriate reward next to the goal. So as soon as you achieve that goal, go and get that reward and associate it. I am having this, I'm doing this, I'm getting this because I achieved this goal. Yeah. And I want you to make that a habit with goals from here on in. Sorry, Reed.
Yes, so Hill, like you said, getting more clients. So one of your steps might be, making maybe 5 or 10 phone calls a day where you're ringing around. It could be that you might want to do some research. Like I did a lot of research as well, like what days, like for my sales teams, what days and what times are the best time to make phone calls. So Monday and Friday is probably one of the worst days, and always try to keep in between, I think it was like time slots between 10 and 3 p.m. if you're cold calling. So just little things like that will help the process as well.
Yeah.
Has anything come up for any of you during that process? Did you find it useful?
Am I just allowed to just mention something to Sahel that might help him?
Absolutely.
Support coordinators are always a good point of contact. If you find out who your local support coordinators are in your area, let them know what you're offering. They're always looking for good support workers, and male support workers are extremely hard to get.
So you contact support coordinators who can get in touch with the support workers,
because they're the ones that link you in with they're always looking for providers, and so they're the ones that will link you in with clients. So I hope that's okay, ladies.
That's what we want. That's what we want.
That's a good thing. It's right.
Josh?
Yes, so with that, I've approached a few support coordinators. They seem to be the gatekeepers to getting access to clients on some levels. I probably wasn't as prepared as I needed to be when I approached a few that I did. So now I've got a bit more behind me. I'll approach them again, but it's just sort of getting past that gatekeeper. Or at least getting to actually talk to them rather than the front desk people. So that's a little bit tricky sometimes to get past the front to get into the people you need to.
Then that's where you would look at individual and support coordinators, and not your big, large companies
smaller
that go through, because they're the ones with the passion that are out there to do the right thing, not these big companies that are about the dollar. That's fine.
I'm on the same page as you. That's exactly what I'm finding. The large companies, there's bums on seats, dollars in pockets. The smaller ones seem to be, just a matter of finding them, I guess. Is that a bit you're going to look at?
Can I just give a tip on that as well? Go onto LinkedIn, right, and have a look at, like, put in the company name, go onto the Facebook, on the LinkedIn company page and look at their staff, right?
Yeah, I
And
mean, yeah.
sometimes, yeah, and then that way, at least when you're ringing up to do, or if you're knocking on doors, you
Yeah.
just
Got a
ask
name.
for that person. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm getting my head around LinkedIn at the moment. So yeah.
yeah.
Right.
And if
Social
they're
media.
asking you to do all the work, all the legwork, then they're not worth it. They're there to do the legwork for their client.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'll give it a crack.
I love that. Thank you all so very much. I hope you found that goal setting exercise helpful. That's the kind of thing that you need to do with each of your goals going forward. Okay. I use post-it notes as well sometimes and stick them all over the wall to work out the steps and then write them down. A big part of time management is saying no, learning to say no. Yes, we all want to be team players, but you need to know when and how to be assertive and to let people know that, yes, you will be able to do that to support them, but you can't handle that request at the moment, especially if it conflicts with you achieving your goals. If you do agree to take on a task, negotiate a deadline that helps them to achieve their goal without sacrificing your own. Okay, so let's work out how to overcome procrastination, which is the one thing that kills everybody's time. There's a 4D system called delete, delegate, do it now, or defer. So delete it. What are the consequences of you not doing the task at all? Look at the 80-20 rule. Maybe the task doesn't actually need to be done in the first place. I'm so sorry about my cough. Secondly, delegate it. If it is important, is it something that you're actually responsible for, or can it be given to somebody else to do? Do you have to do it? If not, delegate it. Do it now. Postponing an important task that needs to be done, literally all that does is create stress and anxiety. So do it as early as you can. I can't sleep when I've got a big task that I know I've got to do, and I keep putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. Stop putting it off, just do it. Get it over and done with. And to be honest, the majority of the time, that big task that I really don't want to do is never as bad as I think it's going to be, ever, once it's done. It's all in my head. I've built it all up into this thing. Reduce the number of meetings. Meetings are phenomenal time wasters. And multiply that by the number of people in the meeting. If you're going to have meetings, if you need meetings, have an agenda. Always have an agenda and stick to it. Don't be going off topic, discussing what Joe's mum did to her brother's father the other week. None of this. Keep your meetings precise and succinct. And if you get into the habit of keeping your meetings to an agenda, and your staff or your team know exactly how meetings run, then they're not going to get into the habit of going on about Joe's father's mother's sister-in-law who did this and the other, and having a general gossip. That can be kept to social times. Meetings and work times. Meetings are there to enable you to achieve something, make a decision. So stick to your agenda. You're not having a meeting just for the sake of having a meeting. And if that's what's happening, stop it. If you book a meeting to go and see a person, send them an agenda and ensure that they know as much about you and what you do prior to getting there, so that they know your costs, they know if you've got availability. So there's no time wasting once you get there, filling in gaps. The majority of time wasting questions about you or your services can be answered prior to the meeting. The meeting can literally just be about the agenda. Okay.
Can I just jump in here as well? Because I have a lot of meetings during the day, and some of them are face-to-face and some of them are via Zoom. The ones that I go face-to-face, I make sure I pre-qualify them before I go out. So I let them know exactly what I'm going in for, and I'm letting them know where my pricing starts as well. Because I don't want to go out there and go, oh, No, my budget's only $500. And, I'm offering something that might be $3,000 or something. I don't want to waste my time because it takes me half an hour. I'm in Sydney. It takes me half an hour to get there, half an hour back, an hour and a half in the meeting. I've just lost that time. So always try to pre-qualify and let them know your intentions. Another thing is I tend to, like, especially in the meetings as well, I make sure, because my brain's thinking so quickly all the time, I let my project manager run the meeting and write the agenda. So I don't bombard them and change topics. I'm not allowed to. If I want to change topics, then I've got to have another meeting or something else. I've got to stay within those topics. Okay, so there's just a few things that work. Okay.
Sand, pebbles and rocks. This is a really good method to use for people who are visual. Rocks are basically your most important strategic projects that you need to do in order to make a difference in your business. So these are the big things, the rocks. The pebbles are projects and tasks. Yes, they're important, but they're not as critical, and they can be delegated or they can wait. And again, the sand, it just fills up the gaps. More insignificant tasks, usually delegatable tasks. Okay, tackle the rocks first. If you keep tackling the small things, the sand or the pebbles, and not the important strategic items, then your jar is going to fill up so fast with rocks, there's going to be no room for anything else at all. A really good visual way of managing your time. Eliminate your time wasters. Distractions that interrupt you and take your time away from your work. Facebook, Twitter, email checking, constantly messaging friends, SMSs. Stop checking them so often and start batching those types of activities. So set a time, then check and deal with them all at the same time, 20 minutes, and then get back on your task. Okay, so if you set time, tasks, scheduled time to do these things, they don't become procrastination time wasters. Yeah, it's a good habit to get into.
There was some stats around time wastings as well, and the average person might pick up their phone over 250 times a day, just checking, just doing this and checking all the time. So you just be aware of it.
Yeah, it's a very, very easy habit to get into, but it's also a very easy habit to get out of. So if it's one that you've got, just break that habit.
Yeah.
Organization. In order to effectively manage your time and be more productive every day, you're going to have to create the right environment. Get rid of useless clutter, set up a really good filing system, and that includes on your desktop. If you've got a cluttered desktop on your computer or your laptop, it's the same as having clutter in your mind. So set up effective filing system from the start. Make sure it's immediately in place from the start, and one that you understand, and one that you can actually find the blasted folders in the first place. So if you send somebody to find a folder, you can tell them exactly where to find it in your filing system. Okay, if you can't do that, then you need to reorganize your filing system or delegate somebody to do it for you who knows how to do this kind of thing. Yeah, but you need to stop having mess and triple and quadruple copies of everything that are all over the place.
I'll give you an example here. Here's an example where I have different things like company registration, competitors, contracts, customers. Every single customer will be listed in here. Within the customers, there's like folders within, so everyone can find what it is that they want. Okay, so make sure straight away that you start labeling stuff properly. Yeah,
from the start, because going in and fixing it once it's a mess, not fun. Actually, it's the same as having filing cabinets with paper everywhere, and you've got to put it all in order. You've got to actually pay somebody for days and days and days to go and do it. If you set this up, a really good system that you understand right from the start, honestly, that will stand you in amazing stead, especially with time management issues. Because trying to find a folder can take 10, 20, 30 minutes, and you've lost it and you have to rewrite it. Yeah. Next, so apart from Pareto's technique, There are other time management techniques that might be more suitable for you. Pomodoro was created a long time ago by an entrepreneur and author, Francesco Cirillo. It uses a timer to break your work down into intervals. So each interval he named a Pomodoro, which is named after a tomato-shaped timer that he created. So it works by, you choose a task you need to get done. You set your timer for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, half an hour. Focus on that task. And when the timer rings, put a check on a piece of paper. So a little 1. Take a short break. Take a break for 5 minutes, go for a walk, grab a cup of coffee, go and have a wee, do something non-work related to give your brain a rest, a break. Then you come back and you repeat steps 2 to 5. So you set another timer, focus on the task. When it rings, check mark on the piece of paper. Once you've completed it 4 times, you can then take longer breaks. And you've actually accomplished quite a lot in that time period, an awful lot, because you've made yourself work literally on just the one project. Yeah, it's a brilliant way of working. It helps people that are more creative thinkers, people who are burnt out from overworking, because it keeps you focused for a specific amount of time. It doesn't just teach you time management, but it teaches you how to set goals and how to achieve them. And you'll be better able to stick to your daily and weekly schedule using this one. The next one, Dwight Eisenhower became president in 1953, but before that, he was in the US Army as an Allied Forces commander during World War II. And he had to make difficult decisions every day. So he invented what's now called the Eisenhower matrix, or urgent important matrix. So it works by getting you to organize your tasks into 4 separate quadrants and sorting them by important versus unimportant, urgent versus not urgent. So in the graphic, ideally, urgent tasks are those that we feel need to get done immediately, and important tasks are the ones that contribute to your long-term goal or values. So ideally, you should only work on tasks in the top 2 quadrants. Other tasks, delegate or delete them. Okay, that's a really, really effective way of working out which tasks are important for you to be working on. It really benefits people who are in leadership positions like business owners, and critical thinkers work really well with this system. Then we've got Parkinson's law. Now, Parkinson was a historian, a British historian, who became famous for the phrase, work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. So in other words, the amount of time that you give yourself to complete a specific task is exactly how long you're going to take to complete it. Does that make sense? So it's not a time management technique as such. It's a law that when you understand it, it can be applied as one of the most beneficial time management methods out there, but you're going to have to put the work in to make it work for you. It means working more efficiently in shorter bursts of time. So try working without a computer charger. That's going to force you to finish a project before your computer dies. Get it done early. So instead of finishing a project by midnight, get it done by noon. Set deadlines. Give yourself a set time to do something and then cut it in half. So limit your time for tasks. Give yourself 20 minutes in the morning, literally, to answer emails. The number of useless emails or very quick responses you can make to emails without sitting there procrastinating about what you're going to write, even if you have templates replies for emails, 20 minutes. It works really, really well for procrastinators and people who work well under pressure. The next one, Elon Musk invented it, or he uses it. He manages his time so effectively that allegedly he can work 80 hours a week and still make time for himself. He does it with time blocking. So from the moment you wake up you assign time blocks to your day for each task. So eating breakfast, writing a report. Divide a piece of paper into 2 columns. On the left, write down each hour of the day and create blocks of time, such as 15 minutes, half an hour, chunks. And then estimate the time it's going to take for you to complete each of your tasks and fit them into your time blocks. So it's a really good day management, schedule management system. You can also use, I have white space in my schedule, white space, and I share my schedule with my team. And if my team sees white space, they know that they can come and contact me, or they can book in a meeting with me during that white space, so that it helps them to know when I'm free and that the rest of the time I'm busy. It works really well for analytical thinkers. The next one is called the Getting Things Done method, GTD method. It was created by David Allen, and it helps you to get things done by recording tasks on paper and then breaking them down into actionable work items. So basically you capture the items that have your attention. These actions are tasks that can relate to anything from work to your personal life. Then you clarify what they mean. So you decide whether the tasks that have your attention are actionable or not. If an item isn't actionable, ignore it. If it is, do it, delegate it, or set it aside. Then you organize, you prioritize your list according to what you need to get done and when. Review it frequently, review your list frequently, so that you can determine what's next priority, and cross off the tasks you've accomplished, and then keep updating your list. Take the actions on smaller tasks that you can complete right now, or delegate those. It helps really well with people who, oh gosh, I've lost that. People who struggle to focus on one thing at a time, or get overwhelmed in their day-to-day lives. That's a really good way of just getting things done. Getting things done method. The next one is the rapid planning method. Tony Robbins uses this one as a way to train your brain. Yeah, the one that we gave. It trains your brain to focus on a vision of what you want, so that you can make it real. So you capture down all the tasks you need to accomplish, chunk them together by commonalities, things that are similar. So which items are personal, which items are work related, which items are team related, which items will grow your business related. And then create your own RPM blocks, or rapid planning method blocks.
Yeah.
On the top of a new sheet of paper, you make 3 columns: the task, and the results you want from completing the task, and your purpose for it. Then next, you list the actions that you can take to get there. So you're creating a more empowering role for yourself as a business owner, so that you can call yourself the king of the business, whatever it is, but label yourself as something empowering and funny. Yeah. This is really good for people who've got long-term goals, and delegate.
This is only one part of it. He does actually have a whole thing that has all this as well. So I only took a snippet of what I found that I was using, but yes, there's more to it. And you can actually buy it online. Have a look on his website. You can actually purchase it online. It
works really well for a lot of people.
Yeah.
The next one is one I like. I've actually got the book, and what I'm going to do, I probably already asked you to read this book when we had our session. I want you to read this book. It's a 2.5 hour long book. It's an Audible, or you can read it. It's not a big book. And I want you to utilize it regularly. Every time you read it, you're going to get a different viewpoint, depending on where you are, because you change. As your business grows, as you grow, you change. So you get a different viewpoint of this book and a different way of using it.
Yeah.
Download
it on Audible. So while you're driving, you're listening. I've listened to this one 5 times because I'm driving. Because I'm not reading it. If I read it, I retain more, but because I'm driving, I need to listen to it a few more times.
Yeah. I've got both. I listen to it on Audible, and I've got the book, so that I go over it with a highlighting pen. But this is one of your tasks. I'd like to read this book and utilize it. So if the first thing you do every morning is to eat a live frog, the biggest, ugliest thing that you need to do, you can go through the rest of the day knowing that it's probably the worst thing that's going to happen to you all day. So you just get it out of the way. It's the thing that you're procrastinating about, the thing that's ugly and is causing you palpitations and anxiety. Just get it done. Eat that frog. Leave the tadpoles. They're easy to swallow. Leave those little things. Delegate those little things. Eat the frog. Your frogs each day are the task that's going to have the greatest impact on achieving your goals. And I don't know why we put it off, but we always seem to put it off. Usually the task that you most like to procrastinate over. So basically get clear on your goal. What is it you want to achieve most? Write it down. The goal setting thing that I gave you. Write it down. Set a deadline. You can move that deadline. It doesn't have to be set in stone. You can move that deadline. Do not set yourself up for failure, ever. Do not set yourself up for failure. You know what you can do in a certain amount of time. So please don't set yourself up to fail, because that is the surefire way of getting overwhelmed and stressed and anxious. Okay. Compile a list of all those things you need to do to achieve your goal. Organize the list in order of priority. The most important items are probably the most difficult, and those are your frogs. Then take action. If you've got more than one frog on your plate, eat that big, warty, ugly, fat thing first. Eat that one first, and then eat the prettier one. But do that big, ugly thing that is causing you to say, I don't want to do that. I'm going to leave that. I wish I had somebody else in my life that could do that for me, but I know I don't. So I'm just going to push it under the lily pad and leave it. No, do it. Get it done. Okay. And then repeat that cycle every single day. So you're always doing that one thing that's going to push you forward towards your goal, that big thing. This works really well with people with long-term goals, business owners and entrepreneurs, and abstract thinkers, which is what I am. So that's the eat that frog technique. Please read that book. I'm going to hold you accountable. Next time we see you, we're going to ask you if you've read that book. Time management skills are vital, not just for managing your businesses and your work, but also having a balanced life. You have to manage your life effectively as well, so that you've got quality time, not just working in and on your business all the time. You need to work on self. You need to spend quality time with friends and family. If you've got a habit of leaving things until the last minute, try using Parkinson's law or the eat that frog method. If you have a hard time focusing on the task at hand, try the Pomodoro effect, working more intensely in short intervals. I'm going to actually give you a flow chart now, which is going to give you an idea. I'll find it. My cat is chewing my lollies. I've got no idea why my cat is chewing my lollies. It's the stupidest cat. He really is. They always come when you don't want them to. Okay, so basically, it's a flow chart, and this is going to help you work out which is the best thing for you. So what do you need help managing? Your day, your week, or your month? Are you a visual person? Will you go away? No, I know. Are you a visual person? Do you struggle finding time to get everything done? Are you a creative or analytical thinker? If you flow through, so visual person, yes. Pickle jar theory. No. Do you have trouble focusing on one thing at a time? Yes. Pomodoro effect. So utilize that. And it may be that you need one or two techniques. I like one or two techniques, depending on what hat I've got on, to be honest, and what I'm doing. Different techniques suit me, depending on, sometimes I can be quite an analytical thinker. Sometimes I can be a problem solver. Sometimes I'm off with the fairies. So I use different techniques. So work out which techniques are best for you. We're going to send you the screenshots, the PowerPoint. So you'll have all of this. So you can go over all of it at your own pace. You're also going to have the recording of this, so you can go back over it and you can work it out. We don't expect you to have learned everything all in one go. That's just not possible. So we're going to give you all the tools that you need to, and we're here as well. What we're going to do is we'll set up in about 4 weeks' time a Q&A, and you can ask anything and everything that you want to about the things that we've gone over in the intensives. You've got a few minutes now if you want to ask anything and everything that you want to of us. Fire away.
Any questions?
You're all sat like rabbits in there.
Just like, yeah, that's it. We're done. 2 hours.
2 hours is a long time. It's
Is.
quite a significant intensive, which is why we're breaking it down into the 6 chunks. Because although it doesn't feel as if it's a lot of information, mastering your time effectively, how much information can you give a human about mastering your time effectively? 2 hours worth. We could go on even longer, but it's not going to be retained. Humans don't retain much past 90 minutes. So for 2 hours, you've done really well. And it's no wonder you sat there like rabbits in the headlights. Is there anything at all that you can think of? Have you found it useful? Do you need to go over it again? Are you going to work on those goals that you've set and the steps?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. As long as there's no questions in that case, you've got a 5-minute early mark. Lovely. And I'll go and rest my voice. I'm so glad it came back. I'm so annoyed.
Thank you very much. Look forward to the next one.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Absolutely more than welcome. And what we're actually going to be doing is I'm bringing somebody else on that's going to help keep you accountable to those goals that I set you. So I'm going to be having a coach that's going to talk to you for half an hour every fortnight. That's going to help you to work on those steps in the goals that we set you in our intensive. So I'll be introducing him to you all very shortly, and he's just going to give you that little bit more to hold you all accountable. Suhail.
Yeah, what I was going to say was, you know, as of now, not many questions might come because we're just digesting some of the information. But as you get into the meat and bones of it, questions would arise. So we might have questions later on.
Absolutely, absolutely. You've got my SMS. You've got me on Facebook if you're on Facebook, on Messenger, and you've got my email address. So whatever format you want. I may not always answer you because I do segment my time effectively, but I will get back to you. Same with
Yeah. If you need a hand with anything like filling out the forms or doing the next step, just reach out. That's the idea. But like I said, just for the next 2 weeks, just keep it simple. Just get into the habit.
So I'll be eating some frogs, getting my daily planners sorted out, and getting my head around the socials in that time frame.
Yeah, absolutely. One step at a time. And like we've just said in some of the strategies, Josh, it might be that you need to delegate. Because learning it yourself takes too bloody long. It may be that you need to delegate to somebody who knows actually how to do it.
Yeah, all right, that makes sense. Yeah.
All right, maybe Josh, we can catch up for a bit as well, and I'll give you a little social media planner that you can just have ideas what to post as well. It just helps.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah,
but we will do it in an intensive. You know how to do it. But if you want to get started, if that's one of your goals, like I'd love to make sure that you hit it and you're working towards it.
Yeah, cool. I'll send you an email today, tomorrow, and we'll suss something out.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Easy. Thank you.
Yeah, and the pair of you as well, Josh and Suhail. If you need anything, just reach out.
Okay, gorgeous humans. As long as that is all, I'm going to go and have some honey and lemon. And too early for brandy, apparently. But see you all soon.
Okay,
thank you all for coming. Take care. Bye.
Bye.